and welcome to Oxford Plan B's video series all about bees, flowers and pollination. This first episode will cover the basic anatomy of a bee. As you might know, bees are insects, and all insects follow exactly the same basic body plan, in that they all have three body segments. The first is the head, the second is the thorax, and the third is the abdomen. Now, let's take a look at each of these in a little more detail. The first thing you might notice on the bee's head are its incredibly large eyes. Insects have compound eyes, which are a little different to other animals, including our own. Another fact about bees is that they also have three smaller eyes on the top of their head, called ocelli. This means that in total, bees actually have 5 eyes. Bees also see the world very differently to us. They can't see red, but they can see yellow and orange, and can also see blue, green, violet and purple, and a special kind of light called ultraviolet light, otherwise known as UV light. UV is a short wavelength light that humans can't see, but many insects, including bees and butterflies, as well as some birds, fish, and even reindeer can. Flowers sometimes have markings in UV light that we can't see, but helps pollinators find the nectar in the flower. The second very important part on a bee's head are its mouthparts. A bee's mouthparts are made up of 2 mandibles, which they can use to chew through lots of things. Between the mandibles is their tongue, which is more complex than it looks, and when it isn't being used, it sits inside the bee's mouth curled up into a ball, hidden away. They use this tongue to drink nectar from flowers. Finally, bees also have 2 antennae on their head, which they use to touch, taste and smell, making them incredibly important for the bee to find its way around the world. Antennae can also detect temperature, humidity, carbon dioxide, as long as gravity and wind speed, which is all pretty impressive. Moving on to the middle segment, the thorax. Attached to the thorax are a bee's wings. Now, bees actually have 2 pairs of wings, which means there are 4 wings in total, and this is a defining feature of all bees. They can beat their wings extremely fast at about 200 times per second. The bee's legs are also attached to the thorax, all 6 of them. A bee's legs are vital for collecting pollen, and they use their legs to clean their bodies, which collects any pollen which is attached to them. For most bee species, they then store this pollen in pollen baskets on their back legs, which have special long hairs to pack the pollen into. Finally, we come to the third segment, the abdomen. This tends to be the largest segment on the bee's body. The most prominent feature on the abdomen is a bee's stinger. But did you know that only female bees have stingers? This is because the stinger is actually a modified part of the female's reproductive system. So, male bees are completely harmless and cannot sting you. It's also a myth that all bees die when they sting. This is only really true for honeybees, not for the other 260 species of bee that live in the UK. Now we know the basic anatomy of a bee. So in the next episode, we will learn all about the different types of bee that live in the UK and around the world.